Kia ora. We're going to look at finding the equations of some graphs today. Now I'm going to do them all in one, so you should be able to either look through the chapters down below or just scrub through the video to find the one that you're after. So first step always is to write down the general equation. So looking at this graph, I can see it's a straight line, so I'm thinking immediately y equals mx plus c. First thing my eye is drawn to is this y-intercept. It's going to tell me what c is. This here is this here. So let's substitute that in. Y equals m. We don't know what m is, but I know plus minus 2. That's going to become mx minus 2. All right, so what's m? M is equal to the rise over the run. So the difference in y divided by the difference in the run. Now the way I like to do it is I draw a straight line out from here until I hit another clear point. And I can see a clear point up here. So if I go out here and then down here, I'm looking at this point here. How far across do I go to get here? And then how far back up do I go to get to the line? So that point is here. I go across from 0 to 3. My run is 3. And then to get back up, I have to go plus 2. So rise over run, 2 over 3. I'm going to keep it like that. Right, so I go down, y equals 2 over 3 x plus, x minus 2. That looks right, so I'm going to move on. Next up, we've got a parabola, right? But now I know I've written the thing here, but in an exam situation, it's going to be really hard for you to tell, right, what's this y value. So if this is the situation you're faced with, what I would do is assume that you are using the factored form, right? And that's really nice because I've got two clear factored forms. So what is that? It's y equals k x minus p x minus q. And p and q, right, they're my x-intercept. So what are they? Well, I've got minus 2 here, and that's a 3 there. So p, q, minus 2, and 3. So I put those into the formula. X minus 2, x minus 3. Right, let's deal with that. All right, this next part, what is k, right? What's my scale factor? Well, one thing I can do is just ask, if I go across one, so I'm going to zoom in here. If I go across, let's just double check. Yeah, one is two lines. If I go across one, what does it look like I go up? Now, it looks like I'm going up 1. If I go across 2, does it look like I'm going up 4? It's 2 squared. So that's 1, 2, 3. It does look like I'm going up. So immediately I think k is going to be 1. But how can I check? Well, I'm going to check using this clear point here. This point is 2, negative 4. So I'm going to substitute, right, y is equal to negative 4, and x is equal to 2. So we go. So negative 4 equals k, and that's 2 plus 2, 2 minus 3. All right. So k times 4, that's negative 1. The negative 4 equals, well, 4 times that's negative 4. Divide both sides by negative 4. K equals 1. And this is the thing that a lot of students do forget to do. They forget to then rewrite the equation with k given. Right? So k is 1, so I just don't need to write it. If you're ever not sure, just don't write k, right? Because it's probably 1. All right, so let's have a look at the next one. Perfect. Another parabola, but this time, right, this is really clear. So whereas last time I needed to use the factored form, this time I'm going to use the vector form, the turning point form. So that's y equals k x minus b squared plus c. Really important. A lot of people forget this squared here. There's so much going on, right? So the first thing you do, just write down the general equation and then double check your answer compared to it. So my turning point here, it's given. Right, this is my turning point, which is really helpful because B and C, right, they're given here as well. So what is B? Well, B is 1, and C is negative 2. So I can substitute those in. X minus 1 squared plus minus 2. And let's simplify this. I can just turn that into minus 1. Plus minus becomes minus 2. Now, the second thing here, we've got to get rid of k. We're going to find k again. So the first thing I do is I go across 1 and go up 1. Looks like k is 1 over 2. 2 squared is 4. That looks right. Yeah? Oh, sorry, that's 1. That's up 2. Really pay attention to these spacings here. If I go across 2, right, you would expect it to hit there, but I can't see it, so let's substitute a value in. I've got a clear point. What a clear point looks like right here. Okay, and what's that? Well, that is, looks like that's going to be 1.5 and negative 1.5. So not ideal, but we can work with that. So y value here, it's going to go here, and then the x, right, it's going to go in there. Let's have a look. Negative 1.5. Okay, 1.5 minus 1 squared minus 2. So first thing is I add 2 to both sides, so I get 0.5 over here. Okay, that becomes 0.5 squared. Right, so in this situation, that is 0.25. Right, half times a half, 0.25. So then I'm going to, over here, 0.5, I divide both sides by 0.25. And I get 2 equals k. Now that's really important, right? Because when I first looked at it, should be a y. When I first looked at it, my first sort of thought was, it's going to be k is equal to 1. Looks like it. But I think the scale there really threw me off. So doing this substitution form, right, we are using a clear point. We can see that actually k is 2. Use the algebra to double check your thinking. Last thing I do is I check, have I got a k? Yeah, I've got 2. Have I got this? Yeah, I've got that. Have I got my squared? I've got my squared, and have I got something for c? Perfect. The answer looks right. All right, moving on to the exponential form. All right, so here we've got something, we'll call this the base. Let's call this a, shall we? X minus b, that's y, plus c. So this is really important. These two, the b and the c, they do mean the same sort of thing. B moves it left and right, c moves it up and down. But the point that we're particularly looking for is, where is it 1 above the asymptote? Where is 1 above the asymptote? So what I do, first thing I do, is I'm going to draw the asymptote, right? That's the, where does it look, where's the limit? Another way to think about this. And then I ask, where is it 1 above? And that point is here. So the coordinate of that point is 0, 0, 0. Now what I would expect it to be is actually up here. And the reason for that, right, is that anything to the power of 0 equals 1. So if x is 0, I'm expecting y to be 1. Now this is 1 lower, so minus 1. But it's on the same line of, it's on the same sort of x-axis, right? It's the same x value. So that's really helpful. I'm going to put that into this formula here. So I still don't know what a is, but I know that b is 0. It hasn't moved left or right, so it's just x. And I know it's moved 1 down, so plus minus 1. We can simplify that. It becomes minus 1. So how do I find out what a is? Well, we look here and go, when it's 0, it's 1. When it's 1, right, where does it go? It goes 1, 2, 3. So what I would expect is if I were to go 2 across, I'm going up 9, which is exactly what's happening there, right? 8 to minus 1 is 9. So something squared, so something to the power of 1 is 3. Something to the power of 2 is 9. Therefore, this has got to be 3. All right, I've got 3 to the power of x minus 1. All right, let's do another one. Another exponential now. Same thing, right? What's my general equation? X minus b plus c. I draw in my asymptote straight across, and I'm asking, where is it 1 above? Where is it 1 above the asymptote? That looks like right there. Yeah, perfect. So that's 1 above the asymptote. But my asymptote now is at 0, 2. Okay, so b and c, right, 0 hasn't moved at all. Right, so I know it's going to be y equals a x minus 0, I can just call that x, but it's moved up 1 this time. Right, I'm expecting it to be here, but now it's up 1. So c is plus 1. Okay, a to the x plus 1. Again, I'm now going to ask, what happens as I go across? Right, is it doubling? Is it tripling? Well, when it's 0, it's 2. Sorry, so that's 1 above. When it's 1, it's 1, 2. When it's 2, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So something to the power of 1 is 2, something to the power of 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 1 is 2, right? So I've got another one there. Awesome. And we can double check that, right? We've got this point here, or, yep, we can just double check that. 2, 5, put that in there, right? 2 to the power of 2 plus 1. 2 squared is 4, plus 1 is 5. So perfect. Right, this is just our check. All right, last one. Now this one looks slightly different. Right, there's a little bit more going on in this area to the left of the y-axis, so I need to be really sort of careful with that. First thing I do, I write down my general equation. It's an exponential graph. It's sloping off, right? It's coming really close to something, but it's never going back up. X minus b plus c. So, where is my asymptote? Well, the asymptote is at 1. And I'm going to ask the question, where on the line is 1 above, right? Because this is now 2 above. So that's actually not really that helpful. I'm looking for 1 above, which is here. And now you can see something that's different. It's not on the y-axis. It's actually minus 1, 2. So I'm expecting it to be here. It's gone to the left 1, and it's gone up 1. All right, it's gone to the left 1 and up 1. So we're going to go x minus 1 plus 1. So that's x plus 1 plus 1. Make that one a bit clearer. Okay, I'm going to ask the same question now, right? Now I'm going to try and figure out, is it doubling, is it tripling? What's happening here? Well, this is now kind of my 0 figure, right? Where we're 1 above that line. So 0, there. If I go across 1, it goes 1, then 1, 2. So something to the power of 1 is 2. Something to the power of 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So I get this lovely equation here. And again, we can check it, right? We can check it with a clear point. We've got a clear point here. So that's 1, 5. Right, so when x is 1, what happens? 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 equals 5. So perfect. This is our check. And I'm happy. So those are all the graphs we need. We're looking at using each of these as part of the sort of foundational skills of tables, equations, and graphs. Thank you.